welcome to the NACL update. First off, a reminder that you can grab tickets for the NACL Finals, which will be live at the Riot Games Arena on August 9th. So make sure to grab one for you and maybe that special song. By the end of this week, we will be down to 2 teams in Challengers League, and they will be competing live in the Riot Games Arena. Now, to commemorate that, we've compiled some of our team's greatest hits so far.
Now that's what I call LCS Challengers. 6 of the greatest names to hit playoffs this summer, including smash hits like Take This Team Down the Lower Road, King will guide till he can no more. Unforgettable summer bangers like Team Liquid Challengers.
Coming in first place. I seen it was a waste. Lower bracket run. Ooh, ooh. Team Liquid get it done. Ooh, ooh.
And don't forget,
You're the king of me. Have you heard of Spanish Battle Patriot?
the hottest season of NACL ever. Don't miss it. Order now and get That's What I Call LCS today.
All of our playoffs are being played on patch 13.14, and early on in the patch, we have noticed a few picks that are stronger than others, including one tree that you certainly don't want to hug.
And remember, kids, only you can prevent forest fires. Wait, Maokai, what are you doing here? Ah! Oh my god, Maokai is 100% win rate in playoffs with 10 bans and 5 picks. He's on a rampage. Somebody stop him! Never mind what I said before. Get some fire, grab your axes. We gotta chop down some trees. Ah!
The pressure is on for the lower bracket teams, so to check in with them, we have on-site correspondent Mazel to see how high the stakes actually are. Mazel, can you read me?
Well, Cubby, I can tell you the stakes are higher than ever.
Can you give me an estimate of how high the stakes are right now?
Well, lower bracket teams only have 1 life left, so yay high?
Any indication for how high the stakes might get?
Well, there's no end in sight.
Well, keep me posted. Until then, guys, that's been it for this episode of the NA Talent Update. Thanks to all my friends who helped out. And until next week, may your week be filled with positive gaming experiences.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. After game 1 is wrapped, and we have a victor, actually upsetting the person that put them down here in the lower bracket as Evil Geniuses Challengers take the game in very impressive fashion. Get back. I want to throw this one to you first because we were talking during the pre-show that last time they matched up, Evil Geniuses went for earlier game compositions and they weren't able to close things out. I think it's maybe arguable that a similar thing started to happen where FlyQuest were like, okay, they got Death Cap on Azir, like, are they starting to come back? But no, Evil Geniuses do close it out this time around.
Yeah, so I think that in this game, they got a really great early lead, and they were pretty stressed about the Dragon situation. So a lot of their setups, they broke down, and a lot of times when they were threatening Baron, they stopped to go to the Dragon side. They did have the one play where they used the Nocturne ult to flip it, which I thought was pretty clever. Ryan was flanked there, was really good. They waited till the lights were turned off, and he hit the Super Blast Cone for a turn. Yep. But yeah, it was probably a bit slower than they liked, but they were still in control for the whole game. So overall, still pretty good, still pretty clean.
Yeah, and Destrix, to go back to what we'd also been talking about and you had been highlighting, is that they have shown flexibility in playing for the side lanes or playing for the big clump-up team fight. This one felt more like that sideline play. I mean, putting Surdy on the Gwen, he was pretty much unmatched.
Yeah, unmatched. Faisal couldn't do too much about it, but I was actually really more impressed by the team fight play that Evil Geniuses were able to do with the Nocturne and the Nico combo. Every time, you couldn't really get the proper angle for FlyQuest to kind of approach a fight. You know, they get their first foot into the river, and what happens? Rift Herald goes down mid, and Evil Geniuses just kind of sneak into the river anyway. That was a reoccurring theme throughout that entire game, but mad respect to Evil Geniuses for pulling it off to such a team.
Yeah, impressive stuff that they were able to right the wrongs from the last series, because if we remember, they were ahead in gold in both the games that they were against FlyQuest Challengers in the upper bracket, and it was comeback scaling victories from FlyQuest. Get back, there were a couple moments that we felt were super impactful. I'm hoping that we can highlight some of them here on the broadcast as well, where like some of those fights felt like maybe it was, if execution was slightly different, FlyQuest actually could have eked it out. So from broader scope, how close was this game 1 for you? Do you think that it was more of an EG dominant victory, or were there windows where FlyQuest could have come back?
I think there were definitely a couple windows where FlyQuest could have come back. They had an opportunity in one of the team fights, for example, to start with a pick. I think that did come down to little bits of micro execution at points, but overall, EG was still definitely in control from start to finish. It just, in the mid game, there was a couple moments where even though EG won the fights, I was kind of like, ugh, if this misses or this goes wrong, then someone can actually die here and slow it down more, which if this game goes to 4 or 5 items, is going to get pretty tough.
Yeah, it was looking like FlyQuest could maybe bring it back, but they just weren't able to get to that point. The focus on the Baron, then that big fight, like you said, Desert's the team fight, did work out for them. So with that said, we're going to get into our Rally Cry halftime show because we like to have a little bit of fun. And I'm happy that we have Get Back here with us because Get Back, we were talking before the show went live, and you're a bit of a card game enthusiast, it sounds like.
Well, the thing is, I've dipped my hand in a bunch of different card games. I find them interesting. At the moment, I'm kind of on my little rabbit hole of learning about different card games, even though I don't play them. I just find them fun. It's something good to do in the off season.
Okay. Well, I gotta say, I'm also a card game enthusiast, as you can tell. Deserix, do you have any card game background? Are you a card game guy?
Kinda. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Back in the day. I used to play Pokemon back in the day by the actual rules. Only problem was back then no one knew the actual Yu-Gi-Oh rules, so I couldn't play someone without them just pulling blue eyes out from the top of their deck like it's nothing.
That's the fun that we're going to have today here, because since we have Get Back with us, joining us, and I have Deserix, who has a little bit of background himself, we're actually going to build our own card game. So I'm happy you bring that up, Deserix, because we make our own rules in this game. So with that said, I have all the players loaded up, ready to go. What I'm going to need from you, Deserix, is to pick a player from each team. Get Back, what I'm going to need from you is you're going to help throw out some concepts, some effects we can add to their player card. Deserix, what player are we going to start with? Let's go with the winning side first. Evil Geniuses. Give us one from Evil Geniuses.
Okay. You know, I was going to go with FlyQuest first.
Well, you know what? I gave you the rules. So how about that? You give me whoever. Give me whoever.
All right.
I'm not gonna be too stingy.
I want to see Faisal first.
You want to see Faisal. Boom.
Oh, my
goodness. The
goodness.
Faisal card, baby. All right, you know, we got to make him a little bit bigger here, too. He deserves it. Boom. The Faisal card. All right, Get Back. Now, the challenge for you, we have to build out an effect for Faisal. Something that fits his playstyle, fits what he did in that game, maybe anything else that you know about him as a person. And we're going to have to kind of build the rules to this game together. So Get Back, what do you think of when you think of Faisal?
Look, I'm going to have to, for this game in particular, this isn't a general Faisal thing, but just for this game, if your opponent has 2 monsters destroy this card, he was just getting ganked and dying on camera in the side lane. So, you know, in this game, he had a bit of tough time, got a bit bullied by the Nocturne, so...
All right, we're going to say champions. We're going to call it champions because we might run into some issues with copyrights if we go other ways. But we're going with champions. If this card is on the field with 2 enemy champions, then it's just destroyed. It's gone. You get ganked. What else can we think about for Faisal? Maybe other effects, because generally we have a couple in here.
Like, what is he big for? He's big for some Gragas. He's good for some Cassante and some Olaf. Like,
if on a tank, okay, what can we do here? If he's on a tank, what special abilities does he get?
I know it could be if he's on a tank, gain some bonus health.
Okay.
Gain some bonus XP, who knows, you know?
I did not think at all about power scaling. We're gonna have to come up with like an attack stat for him. So how about like we'll just call it power level. Games +1 power level. There we go. Okay. All right. Now what about if we add like power level down here? What's his power level?
He's definitely do we have health as well, or just power level here?
I think let's just keep it simple. Just power level.
Power level. He's had a pretty good split. Like that game he got spam ganked. You know, I don't know what our power level is, but I'm gonna throw out a random number. He's a solid. Let's give him a 6. I don't know what that's out of. It could be out of literally anything, but 6 is a good place to start.
Solid 6. Power level of 6. Here you have it, everybody. Boom. This is the Faisal playing card. If you want to compete with the Cincinnati Fear, not Cincinnati Fear deck, with the FlyQuest Challengers deck, you have to have this one in your lineup because it is crucial. I'm going to take a quick screenshot for no particular reason, not like we're going to save these and use them for any other shows later on. No spoilers. But next up, Deserix, we're going to need a card from the opposition, from the other team. Can you think of anybody that you want us to highlight?
I'm going to say one thing for the Faisal one. Destroy this card if the enemy has 2 champions. Destroy the champions if the enemy has 3.
Oh!
You remember all the plays he did last spring.
You know what?
Like a madman.
Maybe that'll be the second release of the card because I've already deleted it and I don't want to go back and redo
In that case,
we'll bank that one.
Armeo.
Oh, man.
All right, what do we have for Evil Geniuses? Give me something from Evil Geniuses.
You're saying Armeo.
I just said Armeo like 3 times.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not
Come
catch
on,
that.
Steve.
All right, I got to bump up your volume on my end. All right, we have Armeo. The Armeo playing card. Now, get back. What's his effect going to be? What do we think for Armeo? If we think about his playstyle, if we think about his champion pool, if we think about how he is as a guy.
Like, Armeo, like, big. Whenever I see him, he's pretty much playing Viego or mostly supportive champs. In my head, Nocturne's still a supportive champ. I don't know if that's true, but that's the way I view it. So, what do we think about him? In that game, he got some good early ganks off. Good strategist. But you know what? I think this team's been doing better since he's here. So how about all your other champions get plus 1 power level, you know?
I was going to say exactly that. I was going to say exactly that.
Okay, how about this? How about we do like a happy medium? Because you said early game, supportive champion. How about like plus 1 power level in the first turn?
Sure.
Something like that, you know? So on the first turn, they have that bonus power level because they like to play the very defensive, help the team out style. What else can we think of? So you mentioned he's coming in late. So, how can we tie that into a card effect?
Only use it on turn 4.
You can. Well, then how does the first effect even count?
I was gonna say, he's the commander, right? Like he looks like he's controlling the early game. So I think all I can think of is give plus 1 to your teammates, like to your other champions. That's all I can think of, you know.
Gives other teammates plus 1 power level. Okay, I like that. Boom. Gives other teammates plus 1 power level. Let's think about shot calling. This is going to be a stacked card. You know, there's going to be more effects, maybe a lower overall power level for him, but he's going to give a lot of buffs out. I like that if we're balancing the card here. Let's think of one more thing for him is maybe, what can we do? On the third turn, also give everybody plus 1. How about that? You know, that way we get that skill.
And only if you say not your Mayo, our Mayo out loud. You gotta say
Mayo.
it to your opponent.
Our Mayo. On the third turn in play, give teammates additional plus 1 power level. Boom. What do we think for his power level, though? What should it be?
Like, he has too many broken stats. You know, you can't have him broken card. It would cost too much money. He's got to be like a 4. Like, it's not to turn down like how great of a player he is, but you know, he should be too broken.
I think that's fair. I like
Still
that as
rare.
a card.
Still
I actually
rare.
think that's perfect. And that's actually perfect timing because we are about to be ready for pick and ban for the next game. So we have 2 of our cards built. Let's see what the players actually bring to the Rift, as that is what is up next for them. So Desterix, take it away.
I thought we were gonna have a little bit. Why haven't I taken it away yet? What's going on?
I don't know. He hasn't taken it away. It's okay. Maybe
Get
I'm
your
doing pick and ban
bald
with
head
you. How
out of
about
here,
that?
brother. Get your bald. I don't want you. I don't want you. I want beatdown.
You want the card back? I can give you the card back.
Man, what's?
Here's the card back.
Okay, you know what? I accept the card. I accept the card because he is our Mayo, our Lord and Savior, of course. But we will figure what's going on right now. For the moment being, I'm just going to take in this card, enjoy it, and start thinking of some cards for the future.
Ooh, cards for the future.
We need one for
well,
Masu.
okay, I'll give you a hint. Desterix. The next halftime show, we might be dueling each other. Well, I guess if you're on it, we might have beat in for that one. But there could be a duel happening between the 2 contestants. So now we need to start compiling the champion list. Start thinking about champions that Armeo would play. Get back, Desterix. I'm gonna have you bounce off of each other. Get back. Give me the first one. What's a champion I need to put down for like the Armeo pool?
Yeah,
I think of Viego. Yeah.
Viego. All right. We're gonna mark down Viego. Desterix, you got one?
Sejuani.
Armeo for
I bet.
Sejuani. I think that's pretty obvious. I actually like that a lot. Okay.
Yeah,
So we have
dive in as well.
Viego, we have Sejuani. Now let's go back to the other one. What was the other one? Faisal. Give me 2 for Faisal.
Olaf.
Olaf, yeah, it has to be
Yeah.
Olaf. And that's either Gragas or Cassante. They're the 3 champs, and I think about him every time. So
I think Cassante's pretty obvious. All right, cool. There we have it. Sweet. Well, it looks like we are ready for pick and ban, I believe, now. So let's see if it works this time. Desterix, take it away.
All right. Let me do this one more time. Okay.
Why didn't you tell me we were wearing sunglasses? I would have brought mine.
I thought I was going to do more during the halftime show, and I was just going to meme Kangas the entire time. But Kangas is really into his trading cards, man. There's no breaking him off of that mental.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I only like really looked in during the back half too, and I realized I'm gonna be in the next halftime game. So this is Gonna be interesting. Me playing cards I may or may not know the effects of.
I think Armeo might be the most overpowered card.
Oh,
just
see?
from how
Very
many
important
like
hint. I'm gonna
Yeah,
aim for
yeah.
that now. Thank you.
And you know what? It kind of does respectfully play to what Armeo brought into that game, number
Yeah.
one, because Armeo was someone who enhanced what Evil Geniuses could do on the map with his Nocturne pick, whether it was Ryoma getting in with the Pop Blossom, or just denying some of the vision control that FlyQuest wanted, like Yuji going after that Baron. I think Armeo
Yeah.
is a big standout on Evil Genius since he's joined. He's the general, man.
Well,
That's what
okay.
he brings. He brings
Hold
the team
on.
together.
Hold on. Okay, we got to talk about this.
Oh,
because
Tristana
one-
got away.
Yeah, exactly. The side swap came through for FlyQuest. They let that one through because of how hard they wanted to prioritize banning Armeo. But a big pick for Ryoma is coming through. That Tristana, which I mean is still just an utterly broken champion. But they're
Team
okay to
Liquid learned that.
let that go and exchange. They want that Xayah Rakan, but I'm hoping they have a game plan for this one because we've seen what Ryoma could do with this champion. We were certain it wasn't ever going to go through, but here it is.
Yeah, as I just said, Team Liquid figured that out the hard way too late
They
when
did.
the scoreboard already read 2-0 and Ryoma was headed to the next round. Evil Geniuses Challengers, they're going to grab the Rel to get some engage going their way. And if they do want to take a kind of Nocturne angle, once again, Rel was another champion that was kind of the legit combo that came out when Rel was first in the meta. Used to use the Nocturne ultimate to set up the Magnet Storm. Instead, Double Marksman going to come in now for Evil Geniuses Challengers. We got a pretty good start coming out for EGC with the
That's
Kaisa.
what I mean. I can't believe these three champions all got over on blue side. Like that's pretty insane. So you have like this incredible scaling composition with these two double marksmen. You have what's likely going to be a winning side lane as well, which we know is so important for EG and how they play. And I mean, this first rotation, it couldn't have gone better. You couldn't have asked for more. As we see FlyQuest, they go for a Renekton this time. You need a lane that's going to be strong early on. And as long as Rumble is out of the picture, looking at that bottom side, then yeah, Faisal should have a winning lane.
Man, that was a lot of respect over to Armeo now that I actually look at the bands. They're trying to stop a lot of what Armeo brings for Evil Geniuses, which is that utility and that setup for the team to find their success. Armeo can be playing the Rel if he wants to, if they want to flex that one around, but we head into the second phase of the draft right now. Side lane bans coming out for FlyQuest Challengers. They want to make sure that Evil Geniuses can't play to the game plan. That kind of just outright stomped FlyQuest the first time they met in the second round robin. The first time they met in the second round robin. The second time they met in the regular season. As another Yordle ban coming through, Poppy can be taken off the map.
4 jungle bans versus Armeo. What is FlyQuest cooking right now? What are they trying to set Yuji up for? Maybe the Graves, something that we saw them go for in their most previous series against Wildcard. That might be what they're setting up for. But for the moment, I mean, you have a strong top side with this Renekton. You want to ban away some of its strong counters, like the Kennen. I will say the Rumble is still up and available here, and you got to imagine at this point, you know what you're playing into mid, so you want to pick 4 Spirax and leave that R5 for Yuji.
Oh?
No.
Oh, are we getting spicy right here, Spirax? I want to know. Don't make me
I don't
just...
believe it.
Okay. I was hoping for... Actually, this is lit.
Wait,
This is
what do you
very,
mean?
very lit.
What do you mean? Like that? Is that not just the Diana Yasuo gonna come through? Like surely? Diana was buffed on this patch technically. You know, a little small damage there, a little extra shielding here, things like that. It's nothing substantial, but it seems like that's what FlyQuest are playing for. This Wombo combo.
Why are you saying what you mean? I'm excited for it.
Okay,
Diana's my
good.
favorite champion.
I didn't know
I love
that.
seeing
That's
Diana
cool.
on the Rift. Yeah, it actually is. As now Evil Geniuses Challenger is going to play for that side lane. This Jax is so deadly when it's in the hands of Sergi.
I really like this one coming through. Even though I think Rumble is disgusting and broken currently, the Jax here is really good for a couple of reasons. We know Sergi's good at it too. Look at FlyQuest comp right now. That's a lot of auto attackers. That Counter-Strike, insane amounts of value coming through here. And now it's just about where is this Rel going to go? Is it jungle? Is it going to be support? And it is support. Oh my god.
Whoa.
I don't even remember the last time I saw Lilia, but it makes sense. You farm very quickly. You're really good at kiting. The move speed from the Pran stacks you get from spamming that Q is going to be a pretty good way for you to kind of disengage, try to outrun members of FlyQuest Challenger who look like they're just trying to run and get on top of you.
I'm actually very, very surprised by that lock-in because Armeo has not played, at least in competitive, for this year. Lilia for a long time. I always mix up Lilia and Nico. They look very similar, but yeah, we haven't seen him actually play this for a long time. And then what you were alluding to a little bit earlier, Beat, that combo of the Diana Yasuo, Diana lock-in did foreshadow that, and Yasuo will be locked in for Spyrax.
I mean, right off the bat, I'm looking at FlyQuest Challengers. Y'all need an early game lead, like badly. Because you have a really strong wombo with this Diana Yasuo combo. If you get that Moonfall into the last breath, you can get a lot of damage in. But when I see Ryoma King 2 items, when I see Surdy on 2 items, I'm really liking EG's chances unless there's a substantial lead. Again, this Jax pick is so good here because I mean, anyone who's doing any sort of damage for FlyQuest is going to be auto-attacking. So I'm going to expect a lot of value coming through from EG's top later.
And Surdy's been playing this Jax a lot. Played it 4 times so far. And each time, he does spectacularly well. Even in the one game he lost, it was a 7-3-9. Fantastic player. We are getting onto the Rift right now, which means we can welcome back our guest, Get Back, returning to the broadcast. What do you think of these drafts, Get Back?
I think that if this was a scrim, and I'm the blue team, the other team's remaking the game. But
Yeah.
we'll see. I was very surprised, actually. First of all, to giving Ryoma his Tristana, something he's shown that he's very, very good at. Another interesting part was then they still handed over the Kai'Sa. That does make a little bit of sense. I think that King and Smoothie on Zyra Khan were doing so much work yesterday. King's an amazing Zyra player. But I think, like, showing that you're going to go for the Yasuo and picking Renekton when you know Surdy's a Jax player, he's always going to pick Jax.
Yes.
I think that this game, like, obviously, they're not stupid. They're good players. They've obviously practiced and planned this. So I'm hoping I eat my words, but I think they're going to have to get a lot done for this game to be playable.
For sure. I mean, the one thing you get to lean on, right, is Renekton is kind of a Rift Herald machine, really strong in lane. As long as you have the Dominus up, you're almost certainly going to win that. And I think that's going to be like a key point in this early game for FlyQuest. Like being able to secure that Rift Herald and snowball that into some kind of substantial lead.
Let us know in chat who you want to take this win as we head into game number 2 of this best of 5. Type in FlyC for FlyQuest EGC for Evil Geniuses. Currently up ahead with that game number 1 win. And with this draft, very, very convincing that they might take game number 2.
Real quick, too. I mean, Armeo started enemy Raptors, something you see Lilia players do a lot with how quickly you can take away these AoE camps. And Yuji, he actually just did 1 camp. I think he realized something may be wrong, and he just lost. He just lost 2 camps. That feels awful.
This is catastrophic for this matchup. These 2 champions pretty much spend the entire early game just hitting their jungle camps, and whoever gets that 6 fastest has so much pressure on the map. It's really important for this Diana to hit 6 on a good timer so they can fight the Herald. But, you know, in a minute and a half time, Armel's going to be straight back at those Raptors. Mid should have Pryo, the Tristana, and they're going to fight him up those Raptors again. So it's a really tough start for this type of matchup.
Yeah, I just want to quickly add, too, that Raptors respawn is really important, as you highlighted. And if Yuji loses that, I mean, bye-bye Rift Herald.
Yeah, they'll be losing a lot on the map because EGC, they're not stopping anytime soon with this composition they got. They want to go fast, and they want to take this away from FlyQuest so quickly. Focusing down onto that level 6 timer, as you were mentioning, Get Back to focus on that Rift Herald. Most likely where our first fights are going to take place.
Yeah, something interesting is that early on, this Jax has gotten the slow push and the crash into the Renekton. This is a matchup where if you're kind of left to your own devices and Jax can get a lead early, you're going to get ad-scaled very fast, especially around Sundra. So on this bounce will be very important. I don't know, pretty much just Renekton needs to get something out of this and be good to fight the Herald. And it could be a massive issue for them if this Jax has control of top lane, which they're pretty reliant on.
Yeah, Yuji's pinging, it looks like. So it could be Yuji just trying to either ensure Faisal is able to get the wave in or maybe set up for some kind of play. But I think for the moment, he just wants that Scuttle Crab. He's still a level down on Armeo. And we're keeping an eye still on that Raptors respawn, which should be coming up pretty soon.
So, Get Back, I want to know, when do you think FlyQuest should start taking these fights? You were talking about that level 6 timer. Is that going to be the main one, the Rift Herald fight, or are we looking for a different break?
I think that the level 6 timer is really important. Finding a Renekton on Rift Herald is really, really hard if that champion's in good condition. The mid jungle are very reliant on their combo. They need threat on Tristana. So for them to be able to play this game out, they need Tristana to be scared to walk up and farm the wave so they can control the river. And that only starts to really come at level 6. So that's why it's a massive deal that the Diana has been put behind early, because if they're able to get 6 advantage on Lilia over the Diana and take a fight, they will control the river and likely get the Rift Herald.
Controlling the river right now in the bottom side to look for a fight, look for a gank. Both King and Smoothie. Masu getting low. King's gonna bail out. Masu trying to complete the kill, but doesn't have the damage. First blood goes over to King.
I mean, respect. Only using the cleanse there. Going forward, realizing that's the only way he's getting anything out of this, but isn't able to get anything at all. We said how important it was for FlyQuest to be the ones to get the ball rolling in this early game, and so far it has all been EGC.
So right now, this proxy coming out from Faisal. Or, what do you call it, B? You call it dirty farming, I think?
It wasn't me who made that up, but I also do like that term. It's very toxic.
Taking a look at this trade. I mean, Masu was kind of dead to rights. He doesn't burn any summoner spells, so just plays it safe, realizing that, he's going to go down, tries to get one back.
Yeah, it's a really nice play from Smoothie, who I think has actually been having a pretty good tournament, especially in the back half of our second round robin. First couple of weeks in playoffs, he's had a really good set of games, and it was a really good setup from him.
Now an early setup coming out from FlyQuest. They are going to shove in that mid wave and instantly start pinging on to the Dragon or members of FlyQuest. Even with the vision of the Scuttle Crab, it will belong to them.
So this actually feels kind of terrible for the Diana's matchup. If you look, Lily is just running around, full clearing her camps again and cycling. The Diana, all he has left is the Grom. This Lily is already a level up before this Dragon goes down. He will get the XP from this and level up, but it's this jungle matchup is going to get pretty scary, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have 2 minutes, or just under 2 minutes rather, until the Herald ends up spawning. And as you highlighted, Get Back, it's going to be really important for Yuji. I mean, he has some camps respawning now, so the hope for FlyQuest is that he manages to reach that level 6 in time, just get access to the Moonfall so that him and Spirax can get that big combo. Because again, Rift Herald, very pivotal for FlyQuest in this game too.
Something I do want to point out as well is if you look at the current mid situation, Spirax is currently like 20 CS up and really pressuring this Tristana. So this will be a really good thing for them to play off of and might allow them to pressure the early game. I think that this is the main thing they're going for them. Top's 50-50, he'll be strong in a Herald fight, but the mid lane, if they can start exploiting that, this Yasuo can really carry this game.
True. I mean, we could see that first Diana Yasuo combo come through mid lane. You force Ryoma out, you get yourself that numbers advantage. I mean, it should be pretty easy for you to get set up. I'm also looking at the bot lanes to see if we're going to get any rotations coming through, especially as we're getting under that 1 minute mark. I mean, my eyes are on Winsome in particular just because of how important this Herald is for FlyQuest to start looking for opportunities to move.
I mean, both the Rakan and Rel play a big part if you are able to roam up for that first Rift Herald and start fighting over there. But look at Evil Geniuses already setting up rather early for their positioning. That's still a ding coming out for Yuji. Will reach level 6 pretty much at the right time, at the time he needs to, but Surdy and Armeo still want to take a fight, forcing out the flash of Yuji. Fight continues in the bottom lane. Feathers fly, root found onto Smoothie, but not much else as the Ignite burns away.
I mean, this is a big deal. Yuji has to back now because of all the health that he's lost. The only saving grace is, as Get Back pointed out, Spirax does have that push in the mid lane, does have that bit of pressure, so it also means EG are at a bit of a stalemate. They can't actually start the Herald themselves either, so it looks like it gave the time for Yuji to come back and get set up for this Herald.
So because Lilia burnt her ult, it's actually going to be pretty hard now for the blue team to fight it. And with the Renekton and the Diana Yasuo combo, I expect FlyQuest to secure it. Lilia should just concede it, probably go back to her camps and clear it all. And she can use this time to just get more of a farm lead. Maybe after clearing this, look into the enemy bot side jungle. See me, a bot's about to get pushed because Kai'Sa's... I know Kai'Sa came out, but I think, yeah, fighting this Herald will be really tough now for EG.
See that right now. FlyQuest are already setting up in that position, kind of trying to fish out to see if Evil Geniuses were there. But with the call-up of their bottom lane, getting Winsome into that direction, that's, as you said, Get Back. It's going to be a free Rift Herald over to FlyQuest. And something for them to try and manage the economy for the early game.
I want to know what you think, too, Get Back. Like, if you're in this game, if you're FlyQuest, where are you thinking this Herald needs to go? Who are you trying to set up early on?
So a very standard thing to do is they win the mid 2v2 with the Diana Yasuo. They should pressure around mid. If Tristana tries to contest the wave, you just kill her and you can look for a Herald mid. If not, you take it into a side lane. Now, oh, dive on top.
Ooh, tried to catch Faisal. Didn't get him in time with the Counter-Strike.
Wow.
Instead, it's going to be a kill
right
going
here.
over.
Yeah.
No, he might decide to hold it, because what he can do is he can base now, threaten through mid, he still held his ult, and they can take it to a side lane if either side's able to build a wave. But this Tristana has to respect really hard now. It's super scary for him to walk up. You can't actually buffer Yasuo-Diana combo as Tristana, because there's 2 instances. So even if you buffer the knockup from Diana, the Yasuo ult will stop you in the air. So it's really hard for him to walk up and push the wave.
Really good. Last couple of minutes here from FlyQuest Challengers. We're going to see if Ryoma ends up respecting, as you say, get back, because that would be a great way for FlyQuest to kind of break this game wide open. Even though Yuji is falling further and further behind of Armeo, the fact that you have access to that Moonfall is such a big boon here, and if they can get that early advantage, it will do wonders for them. But instead, they want to jump on Yuji.
Setup coming out from Evil Geniuses around the Dragon. They're going to invade right onto the Dragon and hop onto Yuji. He will fall. No smite going to be available for FlyQuest. Smoothie joins the fray and will take the kill away.
Honestly, I really like that look from Evil Geniuses. They know Yuji went for the dive, backed, and is looking for his bot side camp. So they're using their prio to move Smoothie in and look for this opportunity here. And Ryoma, with the wave bouncing back, also had that ability to move first. There's really no angle for that Diana Yasuo combo to come through, even though it did look like we saw the Moonfall come out from Yuji. Oh no, he actually held it. Never mind.
That was actually a beautiful layer of crowd control right there. It was a long time before that shield was able to come up from Yuji, but still well played by EGC. It shows that they're really trying to stay on top of certain things like that as Spyrex postures up onto Ryoma. Oh my goodness, Spyrex is going for the ultimate. Last breath comes through, but Ryoma rocket jumps away by the skin of his teeth.
Wow. I mean, how clean is Spyrax, am I right?
Yeah, tell me about this guy, Get Back. I know
You've had
used to be part of
experience with
Maryville
him?
University, yeah.
Yeah. So Spirax, he originally started, I think, besides playing Vel'Koz and Azir for some reason, he's very prevalent on these melee champions. So things like his Yone, his Akali, his Viego at the time, his Yasuo are always very good. So it doesn't surprise me, even though we haven't seen him play at this split, I believe, that he pulls out the champion here. Looks very clean on it. This is just his wheelhouse, to be honest. He's doing a great job. Secured his team the Dragon there from getting a big trade on mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just his stuff. Like, he's a player who can play a lot of different champs, loves the melees, and always willing to pull it out.
I know APA likes to practice alongside Spyrex a lot. Do you ever join in with any of those?
Yeah, so actually the 3 of us have a Discord that we practice matchups in.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
I practice with both of them a lot. So they're very different players, though. You know, if I want to get a melee, practicing with APA is a waste of time. You know, he's good for some Xerath and some Victor and some Ziggs. But yeah, no, the 3 of us, we talk a lot. We share a lot of ideas and practice a lot together.
Attention onto the top side. Yuji sets the trap. Counter-Strike goes out. Gonna stand no one. Didn't want to go for the stun. More wanted to just defend himself while Armeo looks to join the fight. Not gonna land the next Q. Goes by the wayside.
Whoa, look at
right
Winsome.
now. Both of them just staring at each other with very, very angry faces. But the Rift Herald now finally gonna get dropped by Yuji. Should be able to crash into this. Trying to stop it is gonna be Evil Geniuses, but more members of FlyQuest are in the area.
Any second now, Yuji can go for that ult and Spyrax could follow. So, we have to keep our eyes on that as the Herald. They got to do a little bit of escorting, but it should go down. I don't think it's going to get the full turret, but it's going to be very low, and you got to imagine Faisal will have an opportunity, even with plates falling in less than a minute, to be able to secure that first brick. And as long as FlyQuest walk away, that is some gold into their pockets, not as much as we're maybe hoping. So, this Dragon Soul that they're halfway towards is another thing they got to keep an eye on. Mountain Soul's going to do a lot of work for them.
What's going on here? Armeo trying to huddle FlyQuest in, corral them in, and take a dive right onto him. Surdy will crash the wave through, but no one's there to really start up the turret dive. A little bit too dangerous. FlyQuest will get the recall.
Yeah, just seeing if they can get Spyrax to move. And once he's off the mid lane, man, I think there's just no play there. But, Get back. We highlighted how FlyQuest, they need to get an early game lead. Where do you think they're on pace? Do you think they're behind? Where were you hoping they would be at this point?
I think at this point in time, they're still fine. The top lane matchup is now going to start to get a little bit more awkward, but the Renekton Steelers boots up, the Tabbies will help a lot. But what's important to note is that there are 2 dragons, and this is a pretty impactful soul. So I think their win condition in this game is going to be headbutt this dragon on spawn and be ready to fight the soul fight before the other team starts spiking hard. At this point in time, they're still in a great position to fight.
Oh yeah, here we go. Able to use the Wilting Lullaby, finds it onto Spyrax, and with the counter-strike to follow through, it's a kill onto the mid laner of FlyQuest. The fight continues though. Armeo looking to try and bail out, getting away from the Gator. Faisal's running low, and so is Winsome. A double kill picked up by Surdy, flashes in, wants to make it a triple kill, found by Surdy. Evil Geniuses, all the work that FlyQuest did in the trash.
Oh, that's brutal. FlyQuest were in a good position, and just like that, they gave over roughly 1,500, almost 2,000 gold with first brick going over, and it's going to be more with that second Herald going through. I mean, once they back and spend this gold, that dragon is all but EGs.
Take another look at this replay right here. Spyrax, what do you, Spyrax, excuse me, get back. What are you thinking on this one?
So, it's really awkward when you pick this Diana to facilitate your Yasuo and he's dead at the start of the fight and you still take it. It's really bad. If you look at this, he flashes on this guy, so he burnt his flash and his ult, but it's just useless. There's no Yasuo there. He does like 300 damage and he dies on the back end. But by far the worst part is that this went to Jax. Jax in this game is an absolute menace. They're a team full of auto attackers and bruisers. Like, Jax is just going to sprint at them and beat their heads off. So, like, I think that it's going to be tough. Like, this Jax getting this gold is going to swing the side lane matchup and make the game very hard to play out for the red team.
Yeah, I mean, this is still an okay position for Faisal, and it just flipped immediately with all that gold going into his pocket. And there are suddenly very few avenues for FlyQuest to play for. Plays like this is definitely one. Sure, you get King's Flash. That will buy you a little bit of pressure as you continue to hold setup over the river. But it's like Get Back said, if they don't get this soul point, you got to imagine this game is just doomed.
It's really feeling that way as we take a look at the damage that happened in that last one. And Surdy, man.
Yeah, looks right.
On this Jax, it's not right. You can't let him have this champion. He's so good at it. And when he gets a lead,
in this
as Get Back was saying, it's incredible to see what he can do with it.
So something important to note is that FlyQuest has gone into the dragon area first, and there is no flashes on the enemy AD carry, so they have an angle to try and one-shot the Kai'Sa with Dyna Yasuo, but this still looks really hard. This looks like a very hard fight to win.
Yeah, you're basically sacking this turret. It's almost gone. And the fact is, if they go for it to really prevent it from going down, yes, you're stopping the gold from going to EG, but you walked out of the river now. Fact is, you have to answer this next wave and just watch Evil Geniuses walk their way into the river, clear out vision. Now, all of a sudden, FlyQuest lost that position that was so hard-earned. They still have to try and look for that Diana Yasuo combo. Like, this dragon is pivotal. This dragon needs to be picked up for FlyQuest.
And Yuji's right there to try and secure it. The rest of FlyQuest all hovering around this scuttle in the middle. Yuji finds an opening, looking for the combo. Last breath comes through. It's already going to be a shutdown. Found it's on to Surdy. Surdy falls. Armeo falls. Smoothie falls. And FlyQuest soar as they'll find dragon number 3.
I can't express how important it was for FlyQuest to be able to pick that up. And that's the Diana Yasuo combo. The pressure, the fact that King didn't have flash, I didn't see any damage from him or Ryoma during this fight. Get back.
Yeah, so there's 2 big things to note in this fight. One is look at the win wall after the combo goes off. It blocks off both AD carries. And number 2, EG was playing with no flankers. If you're all stacked on top of each other, you put yourself in a position where your AD carries can't hit through the wall. Your front line gets caught up in the wombo. It would have looked a lot nicer if they have someone like the Jax or something off on the side to split them up more. Because if you're coming like that, it is much harder for the other team to pull on you. But they all came together, they got caught in the wombo, and their AD carries got walled off, so they just exploded. The game's honestly back to a pretty good state for FlyQuest.
The old death ball beat.
Yeah. And so far, FlyQuest, it looks like they're back to rolling, and you can see that damage denial. Almost no damage from Ryoma and King, and it's as you said, Get Back, because of that wind wall. Spyrax on a champion, like you said, that is comfort for him, and the fact that he just continues to show all sorts of versatility, playing mages, but also being very adept at these melee champions. And in a combo like this, where it is important for them to keep these kinds of leads, now they've gotten back into it. Now they have a Dragon Soul to play for, and that's where our sights are set on in these next couple of minutes. Getting set up as best you can for that Mountain Soul.
Good presence coming out of FlyQuest so far, especially really collapsing in onto that kill and getting the money rolling. They definitely need the econ to still keep going into their favor, and they just got it barely running. They're one away from getting that Dragon Soul, which is definitely going to be the big spot to watch out for. Evil Genius is not out of the woodwork just yet. You know, this still is a really, really even game, but they got to watch that setup if they don't want history to repeat itself.
Yeah, something else that's important as well is that everyone in the game has flash now. So it'll be, if you're FlyQuest, you should be thinking here to try and burn some flashes off the other carries. Because if their carries have flashes, getting this hard pull engage is going to be really difficult. So these are timers. You'll often see teams where they might just flash on someone mid to trade flashes or do something like that. So it would be interesting to see how these next couple minutes play out, whether they opt to just farm or whether they try and play for summoners here.
And to your point, Get Back, that's exactly what FlyQuest did. They burnt the flash out of King before we even got to the fight beat.
Right, and they got to do it again, as he said. And this next couple of minutes are really where we're looking to see that one happen here, whether it's Ryoma or King or somebody. Those are the two people you want to be able to threaten, blow up as quickly as possible. I can't imagine that Surdy is going to kind of just play that front to back like they did during the third Drake fight. It's, as Get Back said, you need those flank angles. You need to attack on multiple sides, make it harder for this death ball to death ball.
Something that's been swung, though, again, is this Renekton picked up a lot of gold.
Yeah.
So this Renekton, Jax was in a favorable position for a little bit, but it's going to be very hard in a setup for this Jax to push Renekton out. I actually think the Renekton will be able to push him out, so it's going to be very hard to get a good angle. Speaking of...
Especially if he has a Winsome in his back pocket, but Surdy still threatens nonetheless. Walks up with the Counter-Strike, able to get the stun onto Winsome, gets knocked up in the process. Smoothie waiting to join the fight, but already disengaged, going to be found by the FlyQuest bottom side.
Alright, so that's just going to be the Jax ultimate out of the picture. It'll be back up before the dragon fight. But now there's that angle. You can see Winsome. He's looking to see what else they can get and just to cover to make sure, again, they have Prio so that they can continue setting up vision, secure Scuttle, just to make it easier for FlyQuest to get that position they need.
Go for this one. Using the Wilting Lullaby right there. Could have been a bit of an int because it's a minute before you get that dragon coming up. So Evil Geniuses holding position for now, but the issue is going to be forced quite soon. It's still a minute before dragon comes up.
So one thing I quickly want to add too, I mean, Ryoma is at 2 items, King is also at 2 items. We've seen Spyrax and Masu also get there as well. The Infinity Edge, especially newly buffed as it is, really big for the Yasuo. And you got to imagine, like, this is about as good a position as you can be in for FlyQuest, especially considering that catastrophe in the top side. You even see Yuji bought a stopwatch so that he could really get in there and try and set up that Diana Yasuo combo.
Yeah, it's interesting. Here, the Renekton has the push on bot lane. This allows him to get up through the jungle and start clearing out these wards. It's going to be harder and harder. The Jax had to TP on mid so they can try and force their way into Dragon. They're going to be coming from one direction again. So yeah, see, now they're looking to go to the Baron instead. They realize fighting this Dragon is going to be hard, and they're going to try and pull them to the Baron side to hope that they walk in and fight them.
Yeah, I mean, this is double marksman. You take this one very quickly here, and it's going to take a second. The Mia pings are coming through, and FlyQuest, they know they have to walk into them. That's right. There's so much damage
it's going down fast.
Zaya's not coming.
4K remains. Ryoma's backing off, though. That's going to loosen the damage, give Yuji a chance to try and come back into this, but it's already taken. It's already too late. Evil Geniuses, they call the play. Turo Baron going into their pocket.
I mean, they just let it go. They want to trade it for the Mountain Soul, and you're giving away a lot of gold in a really strong buff, but this buff that you picked up with the dragon is definitely, I think it's worth it, Get Back. What about you?
Oh, this is a great play by EG. So this is something that we didn't get a chance to talk about, but in the last game, I believe on the third dragon for the other team, they had the exact opportunity to make this play, EG, and they didn't. And I'm really glad they did this time. Walking straight to the enemy Diana Yasuo blind is always going to end in your team getting wiped and losing Soul and Baron. So instead, you cut your loss and you go to the Baron. FlyQuest, instead of full committing, sent their Zaya to solo it, which is a decision I think is interesting. I think that they were probably better off trying to fight them on the Baron, but the Zaya was already too split. It went down too fast with the 280 carries and Jax, and I think that's really good for EG.
Yeah, the concern might have been to not want to flip the game at the Baron since it isn't quite the setup they're looking for here, but we'll see if that
you lose
actually
that, you lose
pays
soul
off.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. And well, the reason you the reason you want the soul is so that the carries of EG don't really scale up. So, but the fact that they have Baron, the fact that they were able to knock down a tier 2 and have that Turbo Baron buff to continue knocking down turrets, it may end up putting EG in the same position anyway. Because remember, before the fight, Ryoma and King already at 2 items, and you can start to see the components come through, the extra gold, the extra stats, and we're getting closer to a point where FlyQuest comp is going to struggle.
And that's a play that Evil Geniuses can go for, you know, most of the time just based off of the Kai'Sa Tristana and how fast they take down a Baron. It's something that FlyQuest are going to have a good heads up on as they try and set up over towards this bottom rear. They already have the Dragon Soul secured, just looking for positioning on the map.
Yeah. I think that EG is just going to see if they can collect any towers. They're looking for the spot tower, but in this current game state, Fly is still a lot stronger, so it's hard for them to force in anywhere. So I expect this game to stall out until the next round of neutrals. When the Elder and Baron come up again, that's when the game's going to explode. Because right now, FlyQuest have no range, so it's hard for them to siege or really do anything, except and EG are just too weak. So I think that you expect this game to stall out for the next few minutes.
It's going to be tough, though, because Elder and the next Baron are going to spawn at roughly the same time, maybe 15, 20 seconds. So there's going to be an opportunity there for EGC potentially to rush it, kind of like they did before if they get the chance. Maybe FlyQuest to set up and make a play for it right away. So there's going to be that extra bit of time to see what these teams are going to do. But I think I agree in that, you know, there are a lot of tier 2s still up across the board, tier 1s even in some situations. So you can't imagine this game is going to end anytime soon.
So, if you're in FlyQuest shoes, Get Back, what do you think the bigger priority is? Is it to play around Baron or to play around the Elder?
Definitely Elder. The thing is, in this game, with your champions, you have so much force that if you get Elder, you can just headbutt them under their tower and kill them, almost. Like,
True.
Elder provides so much damage, especially when you're a wombo comp. Usually the issues with wombo comp is you put everyone to 30% health and then you run out of juice. But the thing is, if you have Elder, they just die. So you just tower dive them,
Just happens to be the
one-shot them
threshold.
and keep going forward. Also, the thing that is interesting is because they are coming up at a very similar time, what matters is the mid-wave and controlling that area, because neither team wants to give the other one up, especially if you're the stronger team. So if you're FlyQuest and you feel like you're going to win the fight, you don't just want to run to Dragon because they're going to run to Baron. You don't just want to run to Baron because they're going to run to Dragon. So it's going to be a lot about controlling around mid and hostaging the other team, not letting them start the other neutral.
So do you want, if you're FlyQuest, for example, or either team, do you want both objectives up at the same time? Do you want to try one at spawn? Or are you trying, well, what's
If
the
you're
play?
the weaker team, you want them both up at the same time. But if you're the stronger team, you want them separated. Because if you're the stronger team, you force one and then you force the other.
Yeah.
But if you're the weaker team, you kind of put them in a game where you can sneak one or force a trade. And if the issue is, if you get Baron, they get Elder, unless they pull the trigger hard, it's still kind of hard to make any progress through the Baron minions. And on the flip side, if you have Baron, they have Elder, you walk up to the towers to siege, you're just going to die. So it's really, you really don't want to trade those. You prefer to get both if possible, obviously, but it's very doable.
Well, it's worth noting too, 2 minutes to Elder coming through, and I mean, King has finished his third item. He is going for that Leandri's, a couple health stackers, meaning he's going to get that extra burn damage. Ryoma, once he gets that Lord Doms as well, you got to imagine we're going to see that power shift a little bit in favor of Evil Genius Challengers. And as long as they get that in a minute 30 time, could be really liking their chances. You're even seeing Armeo buy that Sorcerer's Elixir, because I'm thinking both teams recognize between that and stopwatches that whatever fight comes next is going to decide game 2.
Everything is going to be available. You see the summoner spells, all off cooldown, same thing with the ultimates. We're digging those critical levels, Ryoma just getting 16. Get those final purchases because we got 1 more minute before that big team fight timer comes to its end.
Everyone has stopwatches. Like, look at this.
Yeah, this is all that matters. This is sell everything, buy the best value you can. Like, you're not getting wiped in a team fight here and winning the game. So this is where you say, we don't care about this side, we don't care about this, everyone come get control, all that matters is control, buy your best items. This is where you start seeing people like finish random items and buy random things just so they can be the strongest they can. It'll all come down to this this next team fight.
Doesn't matter in the context of the build, you just need those stats and you need them right now. 30 seconds before Elder does come in. Teleport channeled by Ryoma, did finish off that Lord Doms. So now we'll have that spike alongside to try and fight this next one out, but it's FlyQuest who are getting positioning on that mid wave, on the mid river, and trying to make Evil Geniuses dance around that. FlyQuest so far with control. Oh, there we go. Ultimate comes out over the wall. It doesn't get the last breath, though, so you don't get the wombo combo. And now here comes the Counter-Strike, looking to find the stun. Able to use the stopwatch. Yuji's looking to bail, but Ryoma has his number. 1 kill coming through. Able to grab another one. King gets Spyrax. Faisal tries to get away. Counter-Strike onto Masu. Masu's looking for the outplay, but here comes Armeo. Can Masu do it? Can Winsome protect him? It's very grim right now for FlyQuest, and with that final Counter-Strike, Masu falls. Double kill for Ryoma, and Evil Geniuses march forward.
They make it happen. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to close it out, but the fact is they picked up thousands of gold off that one play, and they're going to be able to get both neutral objectives.
Get back, I know you want to talk about
It's a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy. I'd have to see it probably one more time to make sure. I'm pretty sure he was in range. The only excuse you could have is Yasuo not being in range and Diana pulled too fast, but that's terrible. Like, to put it straight up, if you burn all your cooldowns, you burn your Diana Yasuo, and you burn your Diana, don't Yasuo. When the Kai'Sa was split, that was one game right there. You one-shot that guy, you take over the fight from there. That is a very crucial mistake. Wonder if it's the communication or what, but tough.
I mean, King was in that Moonfall. That would have been so big to take him off. But now, look at this. You're reaping all the rewards of your Evil Geniuses. Not only do you get Elder Drake, where Surdy soloed that. Now, another Turo Baron buff, 7k lead. Evil Geniuses are looking to push this to match point.
Marcy had such a good fight as well. He played it so well in the back end, but it just wasn't enough. That's so sad.
It is. And what an incredible turnaround for Evil Geniuses in this game. I mean, especially FlyQuest being the team that knocked them into the lower bracket, into the first place. They've won game 1, and they finally got the team fight that has broken game 2 open. And you got to imagine, EGC's comp is online. We're well past 3 items, and FlyQuest's Wombo, not nearly as strong as it was minutes ago. That's not even including the Elder Dragon that EG are sitting on. Now they're the ones who can pull the trigger and end the game at any moment.
So Yuji still has Flash, so he can get in with the Wombo if he needs to, but not if Evil Genius is forced right onto him. Stopwatch goes out by Yuji, but he's in the middle of 5, and Evil Geniuses will delete him from the rift. Surdy goes in deep underneath the tower, pops the Counter-Strike. Faisal looking to bodyguard his base as another one falls to the burn, baby, burn. And now the base under attack. One more feather flies over into the heart of Surdy. Down 1 member is Evil Geniuses, but they're not stopping the advancement anytime soon.
Dude, it's 30 seconds left still on this Elder Drake. You got to imagine some massive play needs to come through from Masu and Faisal, but they could get executed at any moment. EGC, they are so close to match points.
Masu has clutched it out so many times, pops the stopwatch as Ryoma goes on to him, but King takes one. Another found by Armeo, and already we're at match point 2-0. Evil Geniuses Challengers.
And they cap it off with a 12,000 gold lead. Get back. I feel the pain from that last play coming through. It looked like FlyQuest were making it happen most of the game, and then it all fell apart.
That Moonfall,
I'd have to see it again. I'd love to see it again, but it's tough. I'm not even 100% sure if it was a winning fight, to be completely honest, because I've seen it again. But the reality is, if you're gonna pull with your Diana, you have to just commit. Like, because if you do that and you don't pull the Yasuo, you've already lost. So, really, really tough. I think they showed a lot of good things. Funnily enough, I actually think the Yasuo worked very well there. I think a big adaptation they could do is not give the Jackson that position when you pick the Renekton and you have the Yasuo. But he got very big leads in lane, pressured, but just couldn't pull it through at the end.
Lower bracket Boogeyman waiting to claim another life and head over to that match with Cincinnati. Only 1 more game before they get there. Can FlyQuest bring it back? That's going to be the big question. We're going to take a quick break when we return. We'll have the Rally Cry halftime show. Can't just get back. And this time beat down on the show, so not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back.